Welcome, travelers, to my realm of nightmares. Allow me to be your personal assistant. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable. For when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
The Wolf and the Crane. A wolf had been feasting too greedily, and a bone had stuck crosswise in his throat. He could get it neither up nor down, and of course, he could not eat a thing. Naturally, that was an awful state of affairs for a greedy wolf. So, away he hurried to the crane. He was sure that she, with her long neck and bill, would easily be able to reach the bone and pull it out. "I'll reward you very handsomely," said the wolf, "if you pull that bone out of me." The crane, as you can imagine, was very uneasy about putting her head in a wolf's throat, but she was grasping in her nature, so she did what the wolf asked her to do. When the wolf felt that the bone was gone, he started to walk away. "But what about my reward?" called the crane anxiously. "What?" the wolf snarled, whirling around. "Haven't you got it? Isn't it enough that I let you take your head out of my mouth without snapping it off? Expect no reward for serving the wicked." This happened to me years ago, and I gotta tell you, the saying "no good deed goes unpunished," that statement is the truest thing that I discovered in my lifetime. You may be saying to yourself, "But I've done plenty of good, and nothing terrible has happened to me." I tell you, it does not always happen to you, but you do good, it creates a snowball effect, and eventually, all that good that you put into the world has to be blended with some evil happening to someone else. Now, don't think I'm saying not to be good. The world needs it. Just know that your actions always have a more profound effect than you will ever see. Well, thank you for letting me prattle on. I will get to why we are all here. The story of how I met a demon and how he tricked me into giving him my soul. I was in my early 20s, and I had just left the bar. It was a cold night in early winter. I lived like 3 blocks from the bar I was drinking at, so I always walked. Well, on that night, as I walked by an alley, I heard some grunts and yelling, and a cry for help? My alcohol-addled brain sobered up quickly. I ran through the list of my options. I could just keep walking, but whoever was calling for help could die if I did, so not an option. I could call the cops, but could they get here in time? Probably not, but at least I would have tried, right? Could I live with that decision? I could not. So I made the first of many mistakes that night. I ran down the alley. As I approached the commotion, I saw 2 men my age kicking an older man that had been knocked to the ground. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" I called the cops, and they are on their way. After I mentioned the cops, the 2 men took off and were gone. I rushed over to the older man and helped him up. I picked up his cane, but before handing it to him, I took the time to examine it. It was a brass cane with a silver demon's head and red stones for eyes. The craftsmanship was excellent. "Whoa, that is a very cool cane. That had to cost you a pretty penny," I said with a smile, hoping to break the ice between us. "Oh, are you okay? Do you need me to call an ambulance?" I was bluffing. I didn't call the cops. I just wanted to scare them off if I could.
Smart lad. That was some quick thinking. Also, very foolish. What if they had guns and killed us both? But regardless, I am in your debt, and thank you very much for your kindness. How may I repay you?
I looked at him dumbfounded. Just knowing you're safe is all the thanks I need. So, do you need that ambulance? Or is there a place I can get you to? He just laughed at me.
You really are an interesting young man. I am fine. I don't need an ambulance or for you to escort me anywhere. However, I have a question of my own for you. What if you could have one wish granted? What would you wish for?
I sort of blushed. No one had ever been so kind to me. I rubbed the back of my head and spoke honestly. I know it may seem selfish, but I've always bent over backwards to be a kind-hearted soul and help anyone the best way I could. However, no one ever seems to appreciate it or return it in kind. I guess my wish would be for the ones that I assist to be more grateful like you have been, sir. I know that sounds stupid, but that would be what I would wish for. He just stared at me for a long while. I became very uncomfortable under his penetrating gaze, to the point where I started to squirm. Sir? Is there something wrong? I finally spoke. He laughed, and the dark look in his eyes had been replaced with the elderly man I had been talking to moments before.
No. I am sorry. It just caught me off guard, is all. Normally people want money, fame, love, and immortality. You know, the big ones. You are an anomaly for sure, and a welcome breath of fresh air. Consider your wish granted, he said in almost a dismissive tone.
He said this, and it looked like the red gems in his cane's eyes glowed dimly. I dismissed this as a glare from the streetlights. How do you mean my wish was granted? Nothing happened, I asked, confused.
Well, was I not grateful for your assistance? Did I not praise you for your good deed? What more did you need?
He asked and started to walk away. I called after him. Wait, what is your name, sir? He stopped and turned around and said,
Oh, you can call me Abraham.
That was the last thing he said to me before disappearing into the night, and I was left standing in the alley. I thought it was weird, but I went home and slept it off until the morning. I thought no more of it than a strange dream. That was until things started to happen. My wish came true. Every time I did something kind for someone, I got a reward for it that was tenfold. It was odd, and I didn't know why this was happening. That was until the other night. I returned home from work, and a note was attached to my door. I unlocked the door and stepped into the apartment. I noticed it was colder than usual, and the smell of rotten eggs lingered in the air. That's weird. I wonder what that smell was. And why is the heat not working? Oh well, I'll take care of it tomorrow. I spoke to myself as I tore open the envelope. Inside was a note with the neatest handwriting I'd ever seen. On top of that, the paper in my hand felt odd. Like if I was too rough with it, it would crumble into dust and blow out the open window. I carefully unfolded it, and this is what it said.
Luke, by now I'm sure you noticed your luck has changed, and it is time I explain to you why that has come to pass. That night you saved me, I did, in fact, grant your wish. I gave you more than the normal time we give. See, usually you get 10 years. And yes, I know what you're thinking. What is he talking about? 10 years? Did he just rip that off Supernatural? And no, I did not. They did get that part right about deals with a demon.
Now, this is where I stopped and had to reread that part several times before my disbelief faded enough for me to continue.
I am sure you had to stop reading to wrap your head around that, Luke, but yes, I am a demon. Now, as I said, I am giving you more time. In fact, I am giving you the rest of your natural life to enjoy the gift. Then, your payment is owed. As I am sure you guessed, that payment is your soul. No, I did not need to tell you I was taking your soul. I just needed you to make a wish. Oh, and by the way, I'll be seeing you in about 50 years. You die at 86. Until then, your friend, Abraham.
It goes without saying, at first, I thought this was bull, but the more I thought about it, and the more research I did, the more I could not help but to start to think it could be true. How did he know my name? How did he know where I lived? These two questions unsettled me, but I just went on living my life, and eventually I forgot about it. That wasn't until recently. I just turned 86, and I've been seeing and hearing things that I can't explain. I'll be at the store, and I'll see the cashier go from normal and healthy to dead and maggots coming out of her mouth. And what is worse, I keep hearing this unearthly howl of some dog that has no right to be on this earth. And to make things worse, I came home to another note on my door. Same chill and smell in my house as last time he visited me. It was the same handwriting and paper as well. This is what it read.
Luke, my pets will be coming to bring you to me tonight at 3 a.m. If you are smart, you will let them bring you to me without a fight. If not, they will tear you apart and bring your soul to me nevertheless. Do you want your last moments to be painless? Or do you want to know the other option? See you soon. Your friend, Abraham.
I'm sitting here writing this to my family so they know what happened to me, and for you, the reader. If you ever encounter an elderly man who asks you for a wish, just shut up and don't talk to him. It's not worth your soul. As for me, I plan on... Tonight was part 2 of the Book of Fables. If you enjoyed this story, chances are you'll enjoy the other content on my channel. Why not check it out and let me know what you think in the comments section below. Also, while you're at it, why don't you go check out my good friend Possessed Radio? He just reached an amazing milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Please check him out and let him know PA sent you. Hey, did you have merch? Well, I do. Crazy, right? And if you'd like to walk around representing my realm and gaining new travelers, the links to my merch store as well as all of my social medias will be in the description below. As always, I'd like to say a special thank you to all of my lovely Patreons. 242 Reads, Rando Calrissian, Seraphine the Midnight Bard, Creepy Clown Girl, Hair Raising Narratives, Spooky Boo Scary Story Time, Lycan Trucker, and Pimp Demon. If you'd like to join these lovely travelers but light my fire, you can do so by becoming a Patreon as well. Just remember the support is always appreciated but never expected. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ding that bell for our future content if you're new, as it will really help push this video to the algorithm and helps the channel grow.
But as always, travelers, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.